Well, hi all. This is Paul. Yep, that's me. So, just wanted to throw this in as a lead into this video. I'm going to be putting a couple videos together that aren't necessarily metal detecting videos. Sorry about that. But there are a few of you who are new to my channel who actually chimed in because of traveling or because of early retirement or RV life. You know, I've been living in my RV now for 2 years. Sold our house a couple years ago. Retired at 56. So if you have questions about early retirement, you have questions about full-time RV life, um, anything, you know, I have an F-150 and I'm towing a 26-foot travel trailer. You know, shoot me a comment. If you have questions regarding metal detecting, always shoot me a comment. I just wanted to throw this out that this video is going to jump into a little bit of trailer maintenance, precautionary, um, what I've been, just a little thing that I'm doing to help prevent you from getting a blowout. And this mostly applies to travel trailers or fifth wheels. So if you have a travel trailer or fifth wheel, you might watch this just to see if you have this issue, or it could become an issue for you, and this might be able to save you a little bit of a headache on the road, especially for tire blowouts. So that is about it. I just want to throw that out there, that there might be a little lull in my videos. Recently I've had a little bit of a lull in my videos because I've been trying to get ready to get on the road. So I've been cleaning up, getting the truck packed and everything charged, bikes, you know, just the stuff you normally do when you're ready to go on a trip. So anyhow, I am gonna release this video. I got a couple other little odds and end videos. More detecting videos are coming, and then I will put out the detecting videos as I make them and get them in California and wherever I'm at. This year is a short loop, so I hope to be back in Oregon in and around June, I think, and get some more detecting in and around this area and along the coastlines and wherever else I can go. So thanks for watching my channel. As always, I hope you had a chance to watch the Out of the Ashes videos. Those I released some of those videos many years ago as I did them, but also there was a time when I started to save some of the videos thinking I could do a documentary and etc., but never worked out. But I hope you enjoyed the Out of the Ashes series. It was a lot of fun. That site, it's still there, and as far as, you know, until the school builds over it, it's still there, and I will always go back to that site every once in a while and dig a ton of iron, and maybe if I'm lucky find some really weird oddity that you know, that just says, that's pretty cool. So again, thanks for watching. I will let this go into the trailer part, and there will be a video coming out real soon regarding the coins that I've been tumbling. I have the total of that tub, and I was off a little bit, but not too bad. But yeah, not quite as much as I thought, but a lot more than many of you guys guessed. So anyways, look for that video coming really soon right after this one. It should be posted here this next week. All right. Thank you for watching all of my videos. I appreciate it greatly. I don't have any sponsors. I don't make any money on my YouTube channel. I keep it very low tech. And that's the way you enjoy life. Thanks again.
All right, well, today's project in getting the trailer ready for travel is to replace some underbelly screws that hold the siding in place. And what I'm doing is I am riveting, taking rivets, replacing the screws with a rivet. Looks like this. On the underside, there's the rivet, and there's a screw. And what I've had happen, you see I've already replaced those two supports with rivets. I've had 3 of these screws come out, these sharp screws come out, and they're right in line with the tire. So that is a prime opportunity for those screws to drop and cause a blowout. So I'm replacing all of the screws that are on the underside of the siding with rivets and replacing the opportunity to have a blowout. Now there are other places that the screws could come loose, like in the sidewall, which I can't get to, you know, like that one right up in there. This one right here is in the metal. Now I could put some goop on the other side to try and hold it in place better, but so this is all pre-travel inspection. You want to look at your underside. You want to make sure that your welds are all intact. Any place that you see rust, even though I do have a warranty and sprayed underbelly, any place that you might see rust, you can probably hit that with some Rust-Oleum. You want to make sure that there are no open areas in your underbelly for mice and bugs to get into. See what I did? One of the things I did was in the bottom of my trailer. Let's see, where did it go? Right there. So in the bottom of my trailer, I have 2 vents. And so I took those vents out and I put some screen netting in there and caulked it. So that prevents bugs. Because those vents under your trailer, they had 1/4-inch gaps and easily access for mud wasp, paper wasp to get in there and make nest while you're in a location. Putting a little piece of screen, just a regular housing screen, caulking it up, you're going to solve that problem. It's the same thing that you do when you put those nettings on the outside of your trailer, and that is to prevent wasps and things to get inside those areas. But yeah, go through and check all your areas underneath, make sure that you don't have no rust going on. I had a little rust on my pin, took care of that. I make sure I paint up my hitch and get that all, no rust. It's got new grease in there, and I'll re-grease it again before we go. I took this all apart and had some issues, had some pitting issues in the steel, which I actually sent to Equalizer, and they asked me if I was using bad grease. Well, I'm using their grease, and so make sure you clean that out every year, get the dirt out that's been working its way in between the joints. So I did that, and then you have to make sure that you're torquing these back up to the correct torque. So I would like to adjust these, but I didn't do that this year. So prep for getting ready for travel. Just make sure your underbelly is nothing is loose. You don't see any cracks. And then, like I said, I'm taking care of the screws, because if that's a great potential for blowout. And doing the rivets is pretty dang easy. Now, if you ever have to take those rivets out, you're just going to have to drill them out. So, anywho, I'm going to get back to work, and got a couple weeks before we travel. So, and then other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that everywhere is recocked. Every 6 months you're going to want to go around your trailer and recock your seams and around your lights, because in 6 months in the hot sun and the weather, that all just disappears. I mean, literally any place where there's a water intrusion that you might want to put some caulking, I would do it. So all of this flex, all of that right there can be solved if they would have put one more screw right here, because if you pinch these two together, you don't get the flex. So what I might do is I might put a rivet right here. Now, I'm not an engineer and I might be doing some harm, and so be mindful of things you do to your trailer, because this might be meant to flex, because as soon as if I put pressure in there, it takes a lot of the tension away from this, but there might be a reason for that. It might make this a little bit more rigid so it breaks. So, so be mindful of the things you do, but I think I'm going to try it. I'm going to put a rivet right in here, like right in there, and it's going to give that thing, it's going to make it more rigid. So it's going to prevent these guys from flexing and coming loose. And this flexing causes flexing in the sidewall down there, which is another screw right up in here. So all of this little flexing, when you travel, causes all these things to come loose. So anyways, so I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna drill a hole up in here and put a rivet, push it in a little bit. If I leave it out like this, it has a little bit of flex. If I push it in a little bit, make it a little bit more tight, there's less flex. So I might push it in just a hair, pop it in, and make that a little bit more stiff and rigid. We will only know in time if that was a good deal or a bad deal. So, another project. Alright, well, I got that rivet in right here, and look at the difference in the flex. There's no flex. So I did that on both sides. So, like I said, that could be a positive or it could be a negative. Like I said, I'm not in engineering, and that might have been meant to flex, because now there is going to be more tension, wind tension on this, but I'm pulling on that pretty hard, and it's pretty good. So this is pretty rigid through here, more rigid now that I got that rivet on the bottom. So yeah, I just think that might be better, but time will tell if I end up with this maybe cracking because of too much wind tension and not enough flex. But there is air gap back in here where my hand is, and so we'll see. Another thing that they could have done with this, if they needed to, is they could have put holes or something through here like they did with this venting, but they could have did something like that on the backside just to let wind pass through. Anyways, I am done for the day. I got my rivets, all my screws all replaced. Where'd they go? I replaced all of those with rivets. And if you don't know how to use a rivet gun, super easy. They have different size rivets. Not sure exactly the size I was using, but pretty small hole, worked. Anyways, the rivet gun is very simple if you don't know. They have usually they have different settings, like adapters for the different size rivets. And then there's a little tool included to change that out here. And a rivet gun is very simple. You put the rivet in. It's really good for fastening things like this that are pretty thin, like metal, plastics. Maybe not plastic so much, but metal for sure. Even though this is a plastic and this is like a metal, but this is how it works. It's very simple. The rivet goes in. You insert this into your hole. Make sure that one thing you want to know is make sure that when you do put this in between the two pieces that you're trying to adhere together, you want to make sure that this piece and this piece and this piece are tight together. And then it's a matter of, once those are tight and you've got that in the hole, right? Okay, let me see if I can show you something. Well, let me see. Anyways, if you put that in the hole and it's tight, and one of the things you can do is you can put a washer. So I did that on some of them. I had some other smaller washers. I can put them on the other side of this rivet, and then watch what happens when you squeeze the trigger. The little head at the top starts to come out. See if I can get this to focus. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the tension stays in there. So you want to make sure that you're pushing downwards. See how it's kind of separating a little bit right there? Well, it's kind of hard to see. You want to make sure that that stays pushed. You want to make sure it's pushing, always pushing in. And when you squeeze the trigger, what it's doing is it's biting. It's biting the long piece, the long skinny piece, and pulling it down. The head is pulling down. Okay? And when that gets tension, enough tension, like when the two pieces are together, the metal, the piece that's inside that's being pulled down, it's going to snap. It's going to like have tension, and it's going to cut. So here in just a second, because the ball, it's pulled the ball all the way down, there's going to be tension here. So let me see if I can do this one-handed. Sorry, this is a bad example really, but once you get that tension, you can feel it. There, it just cut it. So what it did is it cut the long piece off, the shaft, cut the shaft off. So this would be on one side, which is what you see on the outside of my thing. And then the ball head is supposed to fatten out and push the metal, so it's on the other side. That's why sometimes you could use a washer. It may not always work for you. And then don't forget that there's a piece of metal in here. It's gotta come out. Don't lose that under your tire. All right, that's pretty much it for riveting. It's very simple, and it's very handy for things like siding, just adhering two thin pieces of metal, or sheeting or something like that together. Very good. All right, that's it. My work today is done for prepping the trailer. Kind of spot checked some bolts and stuff on the side. I took care of a little bit of rust. I took care of these screws on the siding, and I even did a little extra today by firming up my siding on this end. And yeah, look for my next project.